up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Micro Monday. We're going to be working on the RipSqueak over here. Why is this light not on? We're going to be working on the RipSqueak. Hey, happy Labor Day! Hopefully you guys all had the day off of work. I am happy to be here working for each and every one of you. Especially you beautiful bastards that support me over on Patreon. Yeah, you guys are my bosses. Tell me what you want to see, and I'll do it. This is my full-time job. If you want to support me, CiottiFPV.com is the way. Patreon, Fiverr, Etsy, and a bunch of affiliate links. Head on over, click a bunch of buttons. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Speaking of the chat, Aaron FPV was first. Swami on PC was next. Alpha Sloth, Yuki Treats, James Lariah, Ram Jammed, Dan Richmond, Chomper FPV, Patio Patterson, Dan Richmond again, Chris Mel FPV, Paul McDonald, CMYK FPV is in the house, Ram Jam, Forevermore, Heart FPV, and Ola FPV. What's up, everybody? I think I got it. I think I got all you guys. What's new? How's everything? How's life? How was your day? If you would like to talk directly to me in the chat, all you need to do is type CiottiFPV. You can put an @ in front of it, but you don't have to. This goes for anybody. If you want to talk directly to anybody, just type their name in your message, spell it correctly, and it'll show up in orange for them so that they, jumps out at them. Yeah, RipSqueak and anything else? Q&A? Yeah, this is a Q&A stream, as we always do Monday nights. I am still... Let me make sure that... I didn't see that Joshua had scheduled a stream, so I'm assuming that he's not streaming tonight. Yeah, he's not streaming. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm in Joshua's time slot here. Maybe we'll go past 10 o'clock, maybe not. It depends on how... Depends on how the RipSqueak build goes. Rebuild, I should say, goes. If I start getting frustrated, maybe I'll wrap it up at 10, but maybe we'll just keep going. We'll see. I'm kind of hungry. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Drop your questions in the chat. What just happened? Don't breathe your spit. It's not good. What is happening? Chomper FPV tagged me and said, "Hope you're well." I was well, and so I started breathing saliva. Now I feel horrible. What's going on? I'll live. CMYK FPV dropping the link, the Linktree link to the CiottiFPV.com jib jab. Chomper FPV says this spot looks fun. It is fun. That's Alpharetta High School. I can walk to that spot from my apartment here. It's always busy though. There's always people there, like using the football fields and, playing with their balls and whatnot. So I never get to fly there, but for whatever reason, whatever day that was, it was just completely emptied out. So, I flew a few, 250 batteries on the 3.5-inch props. And then I flew a few, 5-inch batteries. I'll tell you what, man, the 250 was a lot easier to fly in that little area than the 5-inch rig. It's been a long time since I had... So, I flew 2 or 3 batteries with the 250, and then I flew those 2 batteries on the 5-inch rig, and it was a really... For the first time ever, I really felt like the Micro was a way better fit and was way... It was just better for that location. Like, every time that I've done that exercise and flown a Micro at a spot and been like, yeah, this is definitely the right rig for that spot, I put a 5-inch rig up in the air and it's just better. 5-inch rigs tend to just fly better, like full stop, but man, the Gemfan 3520 propeller with the X-Nova 1804 motor on 4S at like 280 grams all up weight It's real good. It's real good, and it felt proper in that spot. And when I put the 5-inch rig up in the air, I really noticed the weight, from the standpoint of like when I would get into trouble and I would hammer the throttle to get out of trouble. For the first time ever, I really noticed that the 5-inch rig really did take more time to slow down and change directions. And it was really interesting. I crashed a lot with the 5-inch rig in that little area, whereas with the 3.5-inch rig, I was just locked the fuck in. So that was kind of crazy. That was the first time ever that, like, every single other time I put the 5-inch rig up in the air, I'm like, yeah, this is better. And I think most of you guys know what I mean, right? Like, we go out and we fly our micros, and it's fun, and it's great, and it's safe. But then you put a 5-inch freestyle rig up in the air, and it's like, oh, right. Got it. Yeah. Which sucks, man. Like for me especially, because I put so much effort into getting micros to fly as good as they possibly can, and then I just take, the glides that have been the same setup for like damn near 2 years and didn't really take much effort to get them to where they're at, and they just blow the micros out of the water. But yeah, that did not happen on this day, so that was pretty cool. I'm really excited to get this RipSqueak back together. I'm gonna leave these Brother Hobby 1504.5s on it for right now, but then I am going to change them. I'm going to fly these motors. I want to get a little bit of a baseline with these motors, and then I'm probably going to take them off and never put them back on again. I'm going to move this rig over to either the iFlight 1504s or the Toka 1606s, and I'm going to get the other RipSqueak back up in the air. I think there's something weird wrong with it. Maybe not. It might be fine. That's the one that's on the... What the hell motors is that on? That's on the 1306s. So I'm going to have a 1606, either 1606 or 1504s, and then I'm going to have the 1306 one, and then I've got that third RipSqueak that I started to build a few weeks ago that we never finished. I'm going to get that up in the air as well. So I want to have 3 of them. I want to have the 1504 iFlights, I want to have the 1306 rig, and then I want to have their RCX 1306s, which are sold by My RC Mart. And then I want to have the Toka 1606 rig. And then I can back to back all 3 of those, figure out which motors are the best so that I can, give you guys like the ultimate 3-inch setup. And then what I'll probably do is whichever motors I settle on, I'll buy 4 or 5 more of those, and I'll get 2 completely identical RipSqueaks on identical motors. And then I'll take the third one, and so those are both going to have RunCam hybrids in them. I want to take the third RipSqueak, rip the RunCam hybrid out of it, and it's going to be an Insta360 Go 2 carrier. And I can do some testing of RunCam hybrid versus Insta360 Go 2. Yeah, so lots of 3-inch testing coming. Dal just put out a new 3-inch prop that's really, really interesting. Let's head over to, I think Pyrodrone has it, right? It's a 3026. No, it's not. It is a... It's a... I don't remember what it is. I just ordered some. It's on, they're on Pyrodrone. I ordered some. I'm looking through their new items right now to try to find them. There they are. Dal 3028. I am pretty excited by this prop. 3028 is a great pitch. 28, 29, 30, that's a really good pitch for a 3-inch prop. Unfortunately, we don't really have any T-mount 3-inch props that are of this pitch that are durable. Dowel props are typically not all that durable, so I don't know. But what I do like is the design. This design in here by the hub looks like it might be thick enough to actually be durable. So you never know. It's another option. I've got them on the way. I'll let you guys know how the durability is. But yeah, this is the right pitch. We really need like a 30, 35, maybe even 40 pitch T-mount 3-inch propeller for these RipSqueak builds. I'm not totally convinced that 3.5 inch is the answer. 3.5 inch is definitely more efficient than 3 inch. I can tell you that for sure. And it definitely makes a bunch more power, but the motors that we need to run for 3.5 inch, it's looking like our 1804s. And it's really tough to get that under 250 grams. Not impossible, definitely not impossible. But once it's at or under 250 grams, I think that those propellers might be a little bit too big, right? So Chris Rosser did a really nice graph of comparing prop diameter to all up weight. And that graph basically shows that 250 grams, if you want to match up with a lightweight 5-inch rig, 250 grams on a 3.5 inch prop is the right combo. Now that I've flown that combo at 380 grams, it feels really good at 380. I actually want it to be even heavier than that, to try to get some throw out of it. With these 3-inch rigs, I'm going to be running bigger batteries on them. I'm going to start running 4S850 batteries, I think, on them. That's the same battery that I run on all of my Cinewhoops. So what I'm trying to do here is basically get my micros set up with batteries that I would love to just have a battery for all my 5-inch rigs, which is the Tattoo R-Line version 1 6S 1050. And then I would love to have a battery for all my micros, Cinewhoops, and whatever the hell I settle on for 3-inch or 3.5 inch. So yeah, and so here's the other thing, right? There's still this big difference between micros and 5-inch in terms of throw. There's always going to be. 600 grams is always going to have way more momentum, way more energy. Yes, it's a bigger propeller. It's which changes the disc loading. Don't worry about disc loading. Just the bigger the propeller, the bigger the parachute. And so what I'm kind of thinking is with a 3-inch prop at 250 grams, I think basically I'm willing to sacrifice. So what is going to happen, and this is what happened with the Acrobrat, but the Acrobrat was like 260, 270, 280 grams. What happened with the Acrobrat is when I would chop the throttle and let the thing fall, it would hit the ground earlier than I expected. Because at 260, 270, 280 grams, with a 3-inch propeller, the parachute ain't big enough. So when you would come off the throttle, it would fall quicker than what I was used to from a 600 gram 5-inch rig. So 260, 270, 280 grams on a 3-inch prop, no good. But maybe 250, 240, 230 is going to be okay. It's probably going to fall out of the sky a little bit quicker than what I'm used to, but the RipSqueaks, as they've been sitting, are at about 210 grams all up. And what I've noticed at 210 grams all up is they really struggle with throw. So what I'm thinking is to kind of meet in the middle, right? By fattening the RipSqueaks up a little bit, I'm going to get a little bit of that throw back. Not back, I'm just going to get more throw. But the bad thing is how fast it drops off throttle. But hopefully that won't be so bad, right? So it'll drop a little bit faster than what I'm used to, but the payoff for that will be a little bit more momentum, a little bit more mass, a little bit more huck. up over trees and shit. So yeah, we'll see. Or maybe I'll end up going back to 3.5 inch. Man, the 3.5 inch build flies better than any micro I've ever built, and the footage that comes out of it is better than any micro I've ever built. It's really, really, really impressive. The problem is that with the 250 frame on the 20x20 stack, the front arms are not easily replaceable, so I haven't really flown that build hard yet. I've been really just holding back because I want to get as many batteries out of it as possible before I break the front arms. Because when I break the front arms on that rig, I'm going to tear it apart. What I'm probably going to do, to be honest, when I tear it apart, is put an AIO into it, and I'm going to put the Aerolite 2004s on it. These are a little bit heavier than the X-Nova 1804s that are on it. I'll probably keep it on 3.5 inch propellers, but I'm interested in adding weight. At 280 grams, it feels good, but I'll push it up to 290, maybe 300, and really see how it feels. And it'll be nice to have, Tommy's frame on Tommy's motors, and on the 4-inch arms, and we'll see how the 3.5 inch props are. Realistically, the 3.5 inch props don't seem to need this much motor, but I would rather have a little bit too much motor, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So, yeah, those are some of my plans here to give you guys an idea of what I'm sort of going for. Let me get caught up on chat here, and then we'll dig into the RipSqueak over there. Where am I at? CMYK says, what's up, dude? What's up, CMYK? He also says, have you flown a V2 RipSqueak yet? I'm getting tons of jello. I have not, CMYK. I'm switching the base plate and the top plate over here tonight. So I'll give it a fly tomorrow. And this will be a good test because this rig didn't have any jello on the V1 base plate and top plate. So yeah, we'll see. That's interesting. I hope I don't run into that same problem. What did you change anything on yours between the V1 and the V2? Did you bang up any of the motors maybe? Steady Eddie FPV says, what's up? Putting some external receivers on a few micros for better range, mostly the Nanohawk X. It's so much fun. Very, very cool. Hey, you guys might have seen here, in case you didn't see it. Ready? I'll be right back. Look. Ready? Propellant FPV, all the way in the bottom right corner, has become one of our top patrons. Basically, in order to get on that intro screen as a top patron, you got to join the $50 or above tier. So yeah, we've got a new top patron. Thanks, brother. Very, very cool of you. Super, super, super appreciate the support. You guys are the reason I'm sitting here doing this. So yeah, it means a lot. You guys are super awesome. Robin Duckett says, hope everything's good. It most certainly is, my man. License to Drive says, remember the wobbly Mobula 6 I was talking about yesterday? I do. I swapped the AO a couple hours ago, copied the config and gave it a flight. Smooth as glass, broken gyro. Wow, interesting. So not just twitching, but wobbling. Very, very interesting. Glad. I had a feeling that's what it was, License. But yeah, interesting. Swami NPC says, I bought an iFlight Turbo B136 RS, not realizing that I have 3S batteries and not 4S. Don't want to buy more batteries. What do you think about it on 3S? Any rig that's meant for 4S that you put on 3S is going to be totally fine. It's just going to have a little bit less power. So, yeah, run it. And if it doesn't have enough power, you can just swap the motors out. Swap to a higher KV motor, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, we got the RipSqueak shirt on today. Sent to me by Bill from BQE. Thanks again, Bill. Very, very cool of you. Forevermore says, love the RipSqueak shirt. My daughter has a light blue one. Very cool. Michael Blade says, hey. License to Drive says, in the configurator, you can see the virtual quad very slowly rotate on the yaw axis and then snap back every couple of seconds. Guess I crashed it more than I thought. Yeah, the gyros are pretty... It's pretty shocking that the gyros in these things survive any of the abuse that we put them through, to be honest. Gyros are very sensitive things, and we bash the living shit out of our rigs. So, it's one of the reasons why I don't usually recommend you spend a lot of money on a flight controller, because, like, to future-proof yourself, right? Like, these H7 flight controllers, like... Betaflight is not going to have anything built in that uses that extra horsepower for a year or two, and in a year or two you're going to have killed the gyro. So I tend to buy $30 to $35 flight controllers, batter the living shit out of them, and then let them explode. Yeah, so join me. Hey, CMYKFPV with a $20 PayPal. Thank you, brother. For the car fund, let's get it on in there. Mazda 2 fund goes from 1865 to 1885. Thank you, brother. Very cool of you. Very, very cool of you. Oh shit! There's a train over on PayPal. Hold on. CMYK also sent $4.20. The weed number. Thank you, brother. Very cool of you. And then Velociraptor Foil, Josh Doyle, over on PayPal as well, sending $20. Thank you, Josh. Very, very cool. Velociraptor Foil, there is a package that's going in the mail tomorrow for you. From your winnings on the, what was it, last week's giveaway, I think? Last Monday night's giveaway? Very cool. Much appreciated, brother. Here we go. All right, cool. And I just wanted to leave that opened. I did a little order on Newbie Drone to get in on their Labor Day sale. They're doing a 15% off everything on the store. I picked up a set. So I don't have quite enough F40 Pro 4s for all of the glide builds, and I'm really impressed by the Axis 2004 motors that I got for the Cinewoop number 2. So, and Newbie Drone is the only shop that sells the Axis 2306s. So I picked up a set, and I'm going to put a set of those on one of these glide builds to see if I like them. I hope that they're light enough. I haven't been able to find a straight weight on those motors. I'm hoping that because the Axis folks came from T-Motor, that they weigh roughly the same as the F40 Pro 4s. If they don't, I'll be kind of pissed, but if they're heavier, then it'll be a good opportunity to see if this whole light motor obsession that I've been on forever, I can still tell the difference. I know that I'll be able to. I've tested it over and over and over and over again. And motors that are 1 or 1.5 or 2 grams lighter, I can always feel the difference. Pretty much immediately too. Like it's not like I kind of think it's like take the rig off in the air, snap one movement. It's like, oh my god, okay. But we'll see. I have not tested a different 5-inch motor in a while that was like of the same. Like most of the 5-inch motors that I've tested have been like 2207 or 2208 or 2306 and a half. Like I haven't head-to-head tested another 2306 in quite a while. So this will be a really nice little opportunity to test. So we'll see. What else did I get? I also got another... Every time I do an order, I put a Vifly short saver on it for the giveaways. I picked up one of those. I picked up a black 75mm cockroach frame for the cinematic cockroach build. I'm hoping that Dalton will finish up his Insta360 Go 2 Goober canopy mount, so that the 75mm cockroach build can haul around the Insta360 Go 2 for 4K, which would be great. The 65mm Tiny Whoop build is specifically meant for the Insta360 Go 1, mainly because it really can't lift anything heavier. The Insta360 Go 1 is 18 grams, the Insta360 Go 2 is 26 grams. The 65mm Tiny Whoop, like, you can kind of tell with the 18 gram Insta360 Go that like that's the limit. Like, it would technically pick up the 2, it would technically pick up the extra 8 grams, but it would be a rig that was like damn near unflyable. With the 18 gram camera, you can still move it around. Like, it feels fat, don't get me wrong, like it's definitely like flies like a Cinewhoop, does not fly like a freestyle rig. But with the extra 8 grams, it would be like hard to fly. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. That 75mm build with the Insta360 Go 2 could be pretty gnarly if there's no jello. I know there's a lot of issues with the Insta360 Go 2s and jello, so we'll see. I also need to pick up another set of 0803s. I have those T-Motor prototype 0803s on there, and they're great, but one of the bells, the magnet ring keeps dropping on one of the bells, which is kind of annoying. So I really need to head over to Tiny Whoop. You know what? I'm going to pull it up right now. TinyWhoop.com has a set of 0803s that are, I think, 22,000 kV. Oh, man, come on. Let's see. So 802, 802, 802, 803. Here we go. So there's 20,000 kV, but it's sold out. Oh, balls. Tell me that I didn't miss them. I swear to God they were in stock the other day. Oh, I missed them. Yeah, so this is it. The onesies. Damn it. Maybe they weren't in stock. Why would I not have ordered them? Is the question. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave this opened. I'm just gonna leave this opened, and I'll keep checking it over and over again. Because these are the motors that I'm gonna replace those with. I think 20,000 kV should be enough. I believe the T motors are 22,000 kV. I would love to get. I mean, at some point, T-Motor will release their 0803s, and maybe I'll just snag those. But in the interim, if these pop up for sale again, I will snag a set of them. So yeah, lots of crazy shit going on. Let me get out of here. All right, what else is going on in the chat here? Sway on FPV says, I bought an iFlight Turbo. We got that. Okay, cool. Bob Noxious says, what's up, collective? Michael Blade says, thanks for the head up. I just got the Go 2. You're certainly welcome. Rob Timko with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. Beta FPV F4 1S AIO board. VTX channels act funny on 2 exact boards. If I try to set it to R8, it broadcasts on F4. VTX tables look fine. I'm willing to bet that there's a specific VTX table for that. Beta FPV 1S AIO. So let's do a quick search here, and now let's get over to Beta FPV's website. Okay, so let's see. Do they have a specific VTX table for this thing? That is certainly what it sounds like. Let's see. Alright. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What is that? Well, that's interesting. Huh. Little plug and play receiver, it looks like. That's pretty cool. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's your VTX table? Beta FPV. Oh my god, come on. Let me just search for VTX. Search all for VTX. No, I'm gonna search for table. Hey, no, that's not it. Sue table. Suitable. Stop typing suitable. Wow, that's weird, brother. Let's see here. STL file, maybe? No. Interesting. I mean, you might as well take a couple minutes to throw a support ticket in, see if they get back to you. I feel like that has to be a VTX table problem. If it's on the wrong channel like that. Yeah, I feel like it has to be. What happens is a lot of these guys will make a... Oh, here we go. Troubleshooting, how to set up a VTX table on Betaflight 4.1. So here's one you can try. Here comes the link. Give that a shot. Dump that into the CLI. See if that helps it. And let us know. Contents of the VTX must be set up manually. Old version, there's no... Yeah, I bet you this is the issue here. 9 months ago. That would be my guess. Troubleshooting. How to set up. VTX settings can't be saved. Yeah, I bet you that's the deal. They've probably got... That's becoming more and more common, that these VTX manufacturers are using their own specific VTX table, which is a real fucking pain in the ass. They should really just use the ones that exist, the 2.0, 2.1, and 1.0. But what do they care? Thanks for the support again, Rob. Very cool of you. Robin Duckett says, have you tried a 4-inch RipSqueak? I have not, but I have flown a bunch of 4-inch rigs. It's a little too big for a RunCam hybrid payload or an Insta360 Go payload. That's not enough weight for it. And it's a little bit small for a Session 5. So 4-inch doesn't really have like a home for me. They fly a lot like toothpicks, where they're like really lightweight with a big ass propeller. The correct weight, in my opinion, for a 4-inch rig to fly properly is going to be like 400 grams. But there's no setup to bring it up to 400 grams unless you run like a needlessly heavy frame, and there's just no reason to do that. So yeah, I think 3.5 inch is a much better bet than 4-inch. And there's a chance that 3-inch is actually a better bet than 3.5 inch, but more testing needs to be done there. Mr. Huggy says you should try the Brother Hobby 1504 and Toka 1606 3.5 inch. I could do that. I can pretty much guarantee that those motors are going to be too small for 3.5 inch. I really like the way that 1804 feels on a 3.5 inch prop, and it's kind of as small as I would want to go. I've dialed in the 1504, the Brother Hobby 1504 and a halves that are here, and the Toka. Oh, Toka 1606. So the Toka 1606s are no good. You don't want those. They're very, very notchy, very, very coggy. That motor is a no-go. The Toka 1505s are nice and smooth. But yeah, the 1606s are shit. You're gonna get jello. It's gonna be impossible to tune. They're gonna get too hot. They're no good. But that is the right motor. 1606 is a good motor size for a 3.5 inch prop. It's a shame that those motors are manufactured by whatever. It's a shame that nobody paid attention when they were making those 1606s, is what I'll say. Yarbs FPV says, I really like my Tattoo 4S850s on my 3-inch RipSqueak with 1504 and a halves. Is it identical to 5-inch? No, but I like it. Yeah, I have high hopes for the 4S850s on the RipSqueaks. We'll see how it is. Jory FPV says, raise motor idle. So by raising the motor idle, the only time that's going to help with float is when you're right side up. And typically when you chop the throttle, you're not right side up, right? When you hammer the throttle and you fling yourself up into the air, you don't usually just chop the throttle and let it float right side up. Usually you flip it sideways, or you flip it inverted, or you flip it backwards, or you flip it and look down, right? Like usually when you throw a rig up in the air and you chop the throttle, you're everything other than right side up. So actually by raising the motor idle in, typical flight, when we go up and we flip it sideways or upside down, by raising the motor idle, it's going to make the situation a lot worse because it's going to try to pull itself down more. So actually, what you typically want to do for more float is lower the motor idle. The problem with lowering the motor idle is you start to get throttle chop bobbles. So 5% motor idle is as low as I typically go to prevent throttle chop bobbles. So yeah, there's that. Robin Duckett says my latest build is a 3-inch RipSqueak SMO 4K Newbie Drone flow motors, 243 grams. Flies nice with GPS, 4S 450 mAh. Nice. That's a tiny little battery. I've had a really hard time with I don't know which Newbie Drone flow motors you're using, but the more powerful micro motors really hammer the hell out of those 4S 450s. I kind of settled on the new 4S 700s. Those are really nice, but I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of 4S 700s and then have a whole bunch of 4S 850s for the Cinewhoops. I want to try to have the same battery for Cinewhoops and Freestyle 3-inch or Freestyle 250 gram, right? YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Oh wow, I'm way behind. I'm way behind. All right, let's get caught up on chat here. Velociraptor Foil says, sent you a little something on PayPal for the car fund. Thank you, Velociraptor. Did I don't think I put it into the car fund though. So 1885 is gonna go to 1905. Is that how math works? I think it is. Thank you, fellas. All right, come on. Where am I at? Ricardo says, greetings from Lisbon. Welcome, Ricardo. Glad to have you here. It's probably really late at night there. You're a hardcore motherfucker. CMYKFPV says, 100% fresh build on this V-tube. Haven't recovered the lost rig yet. Crossfire switched from R9 FR Sky. That's the only change. So it is a fresh build. Yeah, it's hard when it's a fresh build. Check the soft mounting on the flight controller. Make sure that there's nothing pushing against the flight controller to keep it from floating nice and happy like. Also check your motor temperatures too. Make sure the motors aren't getting too hot. Sway on FPV says, if the power I assume is too low is what they were trying to type. What motor would you recommend on a 3S 450 mAh? It depends on the different. Well, I can just look it up. It looks like he posted it here. iFlight Turbo B 136 RS. Come on, man. Let me copy, fucker. There we go. Let's see. Oh, it's a little toothpick. Oosh. I don't really fly these toothpick builds, so take whatever this recommendation that I'm going to give you here with a grain of salt, because this is just literally me taking a guess, unfortunately, because I just don't fly these types of builds. But it looks like it's 65.2 grams without the battery. Good God, that's light. So it looks like they're putting 1104 motors on it. 4200 kV, yeah, 4200 kV might be a little too low for 3S. Definitely still try it. You know what you should do? Move it to a tri-blade propeller. Move it to a three-blade propeller like the Gemfan 3016. That will make up for the lower RPM, and it might be all you need. If you end up switching motors, man, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe stay with an 11. I just don't know any of those smaller motors. And I don't want to recommend a motor that ends up being coggy or notchy and sucks. So I I guess I would say stick with another 1104, but instead of 4200 kV, look for something that's like 6000 kV. But try the Gemfan 3016 propellers first. That's a tri-blade propeller. It might give you that power back that you're going to be missing from 3S instead of 4S. It's also going to protect the motors a lot better. Bi-blade propellers are really hard on motor bells because they just fold out of the way every time you crash, and the motor bell bangs into the concrete and usually bends the shaft. And nobody likes a bent shaft. RC Ritter FPV says, props for Toothpick 2, 5-inch, 330 all-up weight, 2204, 2000 kV. I have no idea, RC Ritter. I have absolutely no clue what the hot props are for those gigantic toothpicks. There probably aren't many options, though, so I would just get 2 sets of all of the toothpick 5-inch props, and just, yeah, you can make your own decision there. Not to mention that propellers are a pretty personal choice. When I pick propellers, up at the top of the list is durability, because I crash a lot. Most people don't crash nearly as much as I do. So for most people to prioritize durability that high doesn't make any sense. So yeah, luckily propellers are cheap enough where you can typically buy almost all of the options and then just make up your own mind. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to make a suggestion there, because I've never even seen a 5-inch toothpick rig, let alone flown it, let alone have any idea which are the good propellers. My blanket suggestion would be a Gemfan propeller, because their props are typically better balanced than HQ and the other brands. So yeah, if I had to make a suggestion, it would be whatever Gemfan has for a 5-inch toothpick prop. And typically a toothpick prop is going to be either bi-blade, sometimes tri-blade, but it's going to almost always be very, very, very low pitch, like a 20 pitch or a 15 pitch or somewhere in between there, maybe even a 25 pitch. And it'll usually be T-mount as well. That's the easiest way to spot like toothpick propellers. Cali FPV with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, "What's up, Aaron? Aeron. What's your reason behind not going digital? I'm sure everybody else knows I'm on the fence, digital or 04Xs. I don't know what 04Xs are, but basically my issues with digital is that there's more latency. The latency is variable, and it's very expensive. For me to go digital, it would be it would be over $1,000. I also find the goggles to be very uncomfortable, very heavy, very hot. But to be honest, the big thing is money. I would then also need, you know what? No, it would be thousands of dollars, because I would then also need to buy the $800 or whatever the hell it is monitor. Because when I do cinematic gigs, I have to have something to show to the director. Technically speaking, I could do that weird-ass workaround with the phone and shit, but, like, that's not very professional. Like, handing somebody your phone, the tiny little screen with, like that's not really kind of acceptable on the level of the shit that I'm working on. So realistically, I would need to spend the $800 on the great big controller screen bullshit from DJI. So yeah, if they fix the latency shit, I can maybe stomach the financial hit that I'm going to take and the amount of time that it's going to take to switch everything over. Also, they don't have a good nano camera out, so I would have to switch every single one of my glides from 15mm standoffs up to 21mm standoffs, which would be a fucking pain in the ass. So yeah, there's a lot of different reasons. The big reason is money, though. It's just so expensive. I could recoup some of that by selling a bunch of my analog stuff. Actually, no, I could recoup a little bit of it. Like, I wouldn't be able to sell my analog goggles because tiny whoops are never going to be digital, I don't think, because it's just too heavy. The VTXs are just too heavy on digital. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons. But hey, Blackgrinder's here. What's up, DJ? How are you, brother? He says he needs an emu tune for his RipSqueak. What's up? I thought the whole point of emu flight was that you didn't have to tune it. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Just put Betaflight on it, brother. Betaflight's better. It'll fly better. Just put Betaflight on it, turn on RPM filters, and add 10 points to P gain and D gain, and it'll be the best flying micro in the known universe. Scrolling down, T-Bird says, what's up? He's at work. Robin Duckett says, go to the last page. What last page, Robin? That was at 8:32. It's now 8:50. I wonder what we were talking about 22 minutes ago. Fairly Functional says, hey, man. What's up, Fairly? Steady Eddie says, does the Beta FPV VTX come locked? I know I have to unlock all the Max Tiny Hawk ones, or they won't use channels like R8. That's an interesting thought. Oh, and that's probably what that's probably what Robin Duckett was talking about. That could be something. Heart FPV says you can copy the VTX table and save it to a folder, and then just load it from the folder in Betaflight on the VTX tab. You gotta get the extension right though. I've never actually done that. I've always assumed that I could do that, but I've never actually done that. That's good to know that you can do that. That's very, very cool. Dusty Joe FPV says AIO or stacks for micros. AIOs can burn in hell forever, Dusty Joe FPV. AIOs are the worst thing that's happened to FPV since insert name of pilot that you hate the most here. Yeah, AIOs are just terrible, in my opinion. They're incredibly fragile. When any part of them blows up, you have to replace the whole thing. So if a FET blows up, you have to replace everything. My biggest issue with them, though, is that you want your gyro to be on a PCB that is floating as much as possible. And one of the big things that prevents PCBs from floating really nice is having a bunch of wires connected to it, because the wires are going to basically hold that board in place. So an AIO has the gyro on the same PCB as 12 motor wires, thick motor wires, 2 thick battery wires, and then all of the 30 gauge wires for the receiver and the VTX and anything else. Whereas a 20x20 stack, and also you've got all that electrical noise on the same battery, it's all bad. Whereas a 20x20 stack, you've got all the electrical noise on the ESC. When the ESC blows up, you can just replace the ESC. And then you've got all of the thick gauge wires hooked up to the ESC as well. And then you've got your flight controller with the gyro on it, with only like typically 6 or 7 or 8 30 gauge nice thin wires connected to it. So the flight controller is able to be soft mounted and soak up a lot of the vibrations that are going on. So you end up with a rig that flies way, way, way better, crashes way better, is much cheaper to run. Also, the size of these AIOs doesn't work in most frame designs. Most frame designs are really best suited for a 20x20 stack, right? Your camera is 19 millimeters wide, your stack is 20 millimeters wide, your VTX and your receiver are like 15 millimeters wide, right? So frame design really works well with 20x20 stuff. Also, the camera is 19 millimeters tall, and an AIO board is like 1 millimeter tall. So you end up with all this wasted space above the AIO, whereas a 20x20 stack has got the ESC and the flight controller it uses the available space better. And then you put your VTX and your receiver in the rear, which also helps with the center of gravity on the rig. So, I mean, there's just like the list of reasons that AIOs can bite my dick is really long. And the list of reasons that 20x20s are God's gift to micros is also very, very long. So, there you go. There's my daily rant on AIOs with some cursing and horrible language and horrible visuals thrown in. Not sorry for the vulgarity. You guys know it's coming. That's what she said. ScottFPV says, CiottiFPV and fam, I just got stuck in a tree and had 3 more crashes all in one battery. Thought I lost it in the tree there for a second. Glad you got it out, ScottFPV. That's the name of the game. DoomFPV is in the house. He says, those 1606 motors rip on my 3-inch. Thanks for the recommendations. I don't typically recommend those 1606s. Which 1606s, Doom? The Emaxes or the Tokas? Both of them are very, very notchy, very, very coggy. They definitely rip. They make tons of power, but they also create tons of jello if you're trying to collect HD on that rig. Some people aren't. Some people are just flying the FPV camera on their 3-inch rigs, and in that case, who gives a shit if the motors are notchy or not? But if down the road you try to do HD on that rig, you're going to want to move to a motor that's less coggy. Otherwise, you're going to deal with a lot of jello. Frank Nicholas dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, Frank. RC Ritter says, I mean Tooth Fairy 2. I don't remember what we were talking about, RC Ritter. Do me a favor. Tag me again and tell me what we were talking about. Sway on FPV says, I could use the Emax Avan props on the Turbo B. It is a 2.5-inch rig. Oh, okay, yeah, do that then. The Emax Avan 2.5-inch props are arguably the best micro props available at the moment. So yeah, definitely go with those. Scroll. Tom Wolber says, sorry if I mentioned before, but I'm trying to decide on motors for my RipSqueak Mamba 1105, Hyperlate 1303.5, Brother Hobby 1504.5, and Emax Eco 1404. Definitely stay away from the Emax Eco 1404s. They're super fragile. He says these seem like wildly different sizes. Yeah, they are. Mamba 1105s I don't know anything about. Hyperlite 1303.5s I've run, and they were not balanced from the factory, so I would definitely stay away from those. Brother Hobby 1504.5s are pretty good. I am getting away from Brother Hobby motors. My typical motor recommendation for a RipSqueak is either the RCX 1306s, which you can only get from myrcmart.com, or the Toka 1505s. Realistically, I think the Toka 1505s are going to be your best bet. There is a chance that the iFlight Zing 1504s are really good, but I haven't flown them yet. So yeah, right now, sitting here today, my recommendation is going to be the Toka 1505s for a RipSqueak. Good question, brother. Dusty Joe FPV says, we got that. YouTube just did the thing again. Scrolling back up. There we go. Remy Tim says, the DJI monitor for handing to directors works on any laptop and a cheap $100 tablet. I think the $1,800, the $800 controller has no use anymore. Hold on. DJI monitor for handing to directors works on any laptop or a cheap $100 tablet. Interesting. Okay. So yeah. Awesome. That makes it a little bit less money, which is really good. I guess I would just buy... Handing a laptop doesn't really work in the field, but a tablet would totally work. Very cool. Robin Duckett says, check the last page, referring to the Tiny Whoop say. That's long gone. Sorry, brother. What was on the last page, Robin? Dusty Joe says, gyro went out on my AIO. Yep, and now you get to replace the whole AIO instead of just replacing a $30 flight controller, right? That's one of the many reasons the AIOs blow goats. Aber the Ham with a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, car fund. The least I could do to make up for the Elantra falling through. Still driving it because I haven't found a replacement. As you're no doubt aware, it's just the worst possible time to be looking for a used car. Yeah, it's all good, Aber. I mean, the fact that you made me that offer was amazing. Don't feel bad for even a second. Although I'm glad that you felt bad, because $20 more in the Mazda 2 fund is pretty awesome. Thank you, brother. Yeah, just don't feel bad at all. I mean, to be honest with you, like, if it hadn't fallen through, I wouldn't have the money for the Mazda 2, and, like, I'd rather have the Mazda 2. You know, nothing against the Elantra, but I don't have to explain myself to you. DoomFPV says AOs can bite my dick. Yep. Frank Nicholas says, Remy Tim, only if you are on Android and don't mind with rolling our own with regards to software apps, open source. Oh God, is that software a pain in the ass? It sounds like a pain in the ass. Whatever. Robin Duckett says 25,000 kV onesies in stock on TinyWoob's site. Last page. Correct, but those are the 0802s. I have a set of those, the 25,000 kV 0802s on the 65mm motor-to-motor whoop. On the 75mm motor-to-motor whoop, it really needs an 0803 for those bigger, heavier propellers. And unfortunately, those are the ones that are out of stock. Maybe that's the mistake. Maybe I was looking. I don't know. I don't know why I thought that those 0803s were in stock. Hopefully they weren't. But whatever. Bob Noxious says, I'm running those iFlight 1504s on my RipSqueak for 3S for longer flight time, but 4S it's ripping and freestyling like a champ. Very cool. Very, very cool. I have high hopes for those iFlight 1504s. It's awesome to hear that somebody else is running them. T-Bird says the DJI software isn't bad. Very cool. Thanks, brother. Cool. I am now caught up on chat. Let's do some work on the RipSqueak over here. I can all but guarantee you that I chopped this stream at 10 o'clock because I am starting to get really hungry for some reason. Not for some reason. The reason is because I haven't eaten in a little while. It's pretty straightforward. So last night we did practically nothing. Or yesterday afternoon, I should say. We did practically nothing. It was, you know, I was talking about my Uncle Vince and mental health and shit like that, and that really tends to... It's hard for me to do thoughtful, clean work while, talking about shit like that. It's hard for me to get work done at all, let alone when I'm like talking about mental health and mental illness and my experiences and shit like that. So not super surprising that we didn't get jack shit done yesterday, but hey, you guys are all used to it by now, I'm sure. So we've got yellow, white, red, black, yellow, white, red, black. I just want to get these wires laid down. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to get them twisted up. That's what I'm going to actually do. So let's get these guys flattened out here, and we will get some twists put in them, because I also want to shorten them up a little bit. So yeah, let's do that real quick here. Get this going, and all right. So we got some twistage in these wires. I put the twists into the wires after they turn the corner on the flight controller there. Just sort of me being insane, but hey. If you're here, you know all about me being insane. For better or for worse. Why are these all weird length? What's happening here? Hold on. Let me flatten these guys out again real quick here. And try this again. Oh, what the hell happened? I cut them all the same length, didn't I? Yeah. That was weird. Alright. I'm going to try to do this properly this time. Oh no, they are slightly different lengths. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I talked to my cousin Mark, Uncle Vince's son, today, and he sounded like he was doing okay with it, which was really nice. Yeah, worried about it. I can't imagine. I really, really, really can't imagine what him and Andrea and Aunt Judy are going through. But yeah, it was actually really good to catch up with him. I hadn't talked to Mark in a while, so that was really cool. Yeah, so some sad shit, but hey, that's life sometimes, man. We try to turn it around, and I don't know. Okay, so telemetry is on yellow. So let's zap these up to the Crossfire Nano here. I feel like they're close enough in length. It's fine. It's gonna be all right. So yellow is telemetry, incoming telemetry. I gotta look up a wiring diagram for this Crossfire Nano real quick. Let's see. T-Bird says I have a $108 tablet that I keep in my bag. Nice. Rotten Tomato says love the shirt. Yeah, man. Bill sent this to me from Bill from BQE sent this shirt to me. I love it too. Doom FPV says, are there any 2S stacks? What do you mean, Doom? Like, yeah, what do you mean? Like up, like 2S only? Or, what was I gonna do? Crossfire Nano receiver wiring. Okay, let me see if I can pick the one of these that's correct. I think this is the image that I usually look at that's incorrect. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do whatever this image says. So transmit, so receive, so wait, no, so the transmit, so the outside is for the telemetry. Okay. So telemetry is on the outside, and then ground is on the outside as well. All right, that's all I need to see. Ground is on the outside, telemetry is on the outside. Oh, I guess I do need to know which side they're on. So it's on the bind button. So the ground is on the same side as the ground. Cool, and that makes sense because it's the square pad. So let's get it going. I'm going to mount this vertically in the rear. So I want to put the wires through the back, because then I can run that straight down, right? Or I can run them through the shrink wrap. Yeah, I do have a little bit of extra wire here, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to run them through, well, let's see. So bottom plate's going to be here, 20 by 20 stack is going to be centered, and then the crossfire is going to be all the way back there. So no, it looks like the wires are kind of just the right length. Cool. Although, wait, no, this is the longer side of it. That's the front of it. So let's go here. No, yeah, the wires are just the right length. Okay, cool. So I'm going to run these basically straight out of the back. So they're going to go, so the ground, for example, is going to go right in there. And what I like to do with these is leave these through holes empty and just dump it, like make sure the wires are tinned, of course, and then just dump a bunch of solder onto the back. And sometimes you can even do two of them at once. So let's get that going here. We can probably do the ground and the voltage at the same time here. All right, and you can just sort of like balance it like this so that it's just sort of hanging out. And those wires will sit in there, and then you're just going to push solder right on in and be good to go. So I'm going to do the ground first, and then I'm going to move over to the ground. I'm sorry, I'm going to do the voltage first, and then we're going to move over to the ground, because the ground wire is a little bit shorter and it's not sitting all the way in there. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to put, actually tin the tip, and then we're just going to feed this right on in. Put the soldering iron sideways here, apply the heat, and then just push the solder into that through hole. And in theory, as long as you put enough heat on it, it'll get all up in there. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. So now for the ground wire here that's not like kind of poking all the way through, I'm just going to grab it and just kind of force it forward a little bit once it's in the hole. Got to be in the hole before you force it forward, boys and girls. It's very important. All right, that's not working. What I'll do is I'll put a little kink in the power wire to kind of shorten it up a little bit. And I need to put a little bit more of a kink in it. There we go. And so that's going to shorten it up a little bit, and that'll let us take our ground wire and pull that out. And now the ground wire is sitting all the way through that through hole. And now we can just do the same thing here. Apply heat, push solder into that through hole, and using the through holes is really nice. It's the most durable way to solder these tiny little fragile 30 gauge wires. So whenever you can use the through holes, use them. Because yeah, it's really, really strong. All right, so there we go with that. And then what did I say? I said telemetry is on the outside, so that means white is the next one that we're going to do here. Put that through the little through hole. And it's not sitting quite flush, so we're going to do the same little trick. We're just going to pull on the white wire, and then we're going to put it back in the hole. And yeah, now it's sitting in there properly. Same deal. Apply heat. Feed the solder. A little bit of patience to make sure that the through hole itself heats up. What you want to do, the reason why you want to make sure you get enough heat into it is because you want to make sure that the entire through hole gets hot. Like the through hole is like this, right? And then you got your wire sticking through it. You want to make sure you get enough heat into this whole area so that the solder sticks to it. You don't want the solder to just blob up on the outside of the through hole. That's no good. Once it's on the hole, Rob Oxison says. All right, so now we got one last one, which is going to be yellow, and it is plenty long. We're going to put it through there. I'm actually going to chop it down a tiny little bit. Keep control when you do that. Keep control of the little bit that you chop off to make sure it doesn't go into the circuit board and bridge some shit and blow some shit up. Yellow wire is good in there. Apply the heat. Fill up the hole. And make sure you use a condom. And there we have it. 4 big old solder blobs. And now what you want to do is look at this side of it and just make sure that you can see a little bit of solder, excuse me, a little bit of solder kind of peeking out to make sure that you've got enough in there. And yeah, we're looking good on all 4 of those. So we're all set. We are officially on a Crossfire Nano. This is the only non-Cinewoop micro that I've got that's actually on Crossfire, which is kind of interesting. Previously, I've just been putting RXSRs on these things because I have a shitload of RXSRs floating around. But yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So, eat me. All right, cool. So this is good to go. Crossfire's all wired up. I am going to be using a Mini Mortal T V2, which apparently I've taken out of here. Although, didn't I have a short? Wasn't I going to switch this over to a short axis antenna? I guess not. Nah, fuck it. We're going to leave it on the axis. Where the hell are the Mini Mortal T's? I guess I put them in with the receiver box. That would make a lot of sense. Hey, there they are. Cool. So yeah, it's really important if you're going to use a Mini Mortal T to use a V2. The V1 Mini Mortal T's are horrible, and you'll get fail-safes from like 100 feet away. Not even 100 yards, 100 feet. So yeah, we got a little Mini Mortal T action. I'm going to run this guy downwards, and I'm going to shrimp wrap it, sorry. And then I'll run it right off the butt, just like that. So let's get some shrimp wrap on here. We haven't given the shrimps nearly enough love lately. Where's the solder at? Come here, solder. Get over here. Come on, solder. There it is. That's cool. And when you get out your nice big spool of solder, grab your favorite round screwdriver. Take it, wrap it around the handle, and make yourself a nice little self-standing spool of solder. Wrap it around like that, bunch it up, take it off, grab this part, pull it up, and you've got yourself a little handle to hold on to, but it'll also stand up on your desk, so you can take the tip of your soldering iron and tin the tip, and then get your work done. So next up, we're going to switch in the Eachine Nano V2 VTX, and it's just going to be a real barrel of donkeys. I need to look up. Not do the greatest job of soldering these. Wow, they did not use the through holes. So I'm very tempted to desolder all of these. Man, these pads are fucking small though. Good Lord, these pads are small. We're just going to reuse this axis here. Yeah. 5-volt ground, RX, 5-volt ground, video. I don't know which. 2 of these are 5-volt and ground in, 2 of these are 5-volt and ground out. I don't know which ones are which. I'm going to desolder all of these, and then I'm going to use the through holes because I'm dumb. No, because with micros I really try to just do it once and do it right. So let's just whop these guys off. Oh God, come on now. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. There we go. Alright. Get this telemetry wire off of here. Not telemetry, smart audio rather. And I'm just going to look up the wiring diagram for this thing. Come on, ground pads, don't be assholes. Thank you. And then we've got video. Alright, so I mean I can just put the video directly back in because it's yellow. What I really need to look up though are the other ones. Namely the which is voltage in and which is voltage out. This is like an ultra, if I can get this is like an ultra half-assed lazy man move right now. But I might actually be able to get this. Hold on. Nah, I ain't gonna, let's try it one more time. One more time. With feeling. Oh yeah. Come on, get in there. Come on, you bastard, get in there. Nope, not flying. Gotta do it the right way. I was trying to half-ass it. It's okay. I also want to confirm, am I doing this on the right side? Yeah, I want to send him out the back. Yeah, I do want to send him out the back. I've always wondered if I can just get it hot enough, get it hot, and then just sneak the wire in there. Let's see. Oh, nope, that ain't the way to do it. I gotta get better control over the wire. All right, let's try this one more time. One more time. I feel like I might have done this once or twice before. So if you just get the through hole hot, and then quickly, nope. Now you got to put the heat on the one side, and then push the wire through from the other side. So we can maybe do it like that. Oh, there we go. Well, that's a different way of doing it. I haven't done it like that before. That's kind of slick. So you can just let this thing sit and just sneak the tip of the soldering iron under it. I'm able to do that because there's a great big button on here, which gives it just enough. That's pretty cool. I really like that. I gotta be honest. That's really nice. Usually it's kind of a pain in the ass to use these through holes because you got to heat from one side and moosh from the other. I'll do that a couple more times here. Let me just look up the donkeys. Hot and wet, indeed. Let me get caught up on chat too. Robin Duckett says channel 1 is RX, channel 2 is TX. Channel 1 is RX. Oh yeah, Oscar's picture is backwards. God damn it. Well, oh wait, no, channel 2 is outside. Okay, no, I'm good. DoomFPV says, does twisting the wires like that cause issues with the signal? You could actually argue the opposite of that. There's something called twisted pairs. When you twist wires together, there's an effect where it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything good. It doesn't do anything bad. There are people that says it does good things. Those people don't know what they're talking about. When you talk to actual electrical engineers, they will tell you that the twisted pairs thing makes like 0.00001% of a difference. It's negligible. It doesn't hurt anything though. So yeah, and I like to do it because it adds a little bit of extra wire. It shortens the wires up, so down the road, if you need a little bit more wire, you can untwist them. It also keeps it from being a goddamn mess up in there, which is great. I like doing it. Robinson says, once it's on the hole, that's what she said. Also says, new place to hit next time you're in Charleston, Leon's Chicken. I'm pretty sure I've eaten at Leon's before. Hold on. Yeah. I've eaten at Leon's a couple times. Great spot. Oh my god. Yeah, where is Leon? Leon's is, yeah. Oh, Leon's is good. Leon's is a spot that I used to take when people would come visit me. Leon's was one of the spots that I would take them to. Great place. A little expensive, but really good food. CiottiFPV says, does anyone else love building almost as much as flying besides me? Definitely not me. Building is my least favorite part of the hobby, probably because I've done it so much, and I'm just burned out on it. I do remember way back when building was kind of fun though, but I've just had to do it so much that it's one of the problems with crashing all the time is you're constantly doing repairs and you're constantly building, and eventually it's just like, fuck, man, I just want to fly. Rob Axon says, wait, what do you mean RXSR, blah, blah, blah. Went Crossfire and solder, Rob Axon also says. CMYK says, best soldering tip. I use it every time I work. Thanks to CiottiFPV, I wrap it around an 18650. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Rob Axelson says, haven't had issues since moving to Crossfire. Been seeing a lot of positive responses to the new protocol. Express, what's your thoughts? Express LRS seems really good. Unfortunately, Happy Model is the one making the hardware right now, which is scary. I'm not putting Happy Model in any of my stuff. Somebody let me know a live stream or two ago that you can take Ghost and you can flash it onto Ghost. Yeah, I mean, for me to change protocols is a very expensive, very time-consuming process because I've got Crossfire in everything. Up until very recently, I was pretty happy with Crossfire, and I think I still am happy with Crossfire. I think I've just fucked up from the piloting standpoint and caused a couple of fail-safes. Express LRS is not going to help with fail-safes. It's not a link that's better than Crossfire. So yeah, once there's a good quality, what I am interested in with Express LRS is the fact that they're starting to build it into tiny whoops. That's pretty awesome. So from that standpoint, I'm definitely interested in it, but I'm probably gonna stay Crossfire on the fleet. Loon FPV is in the house. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. How are you? He says, still made it, bish. On aw, baby squid, hell yeah. CMYK FPV says, having weird VTX issues with Ishi Nano V2, went black, no OSD after 20 seconds, recreated the issue, set to channel 3, but it was bleeding over onto channel 5, updated VTX table, and no blackout. Still bleeding over, though. Interesting. I think I've only got one Ishi Nano V2 running. I ran a bunch of their V1s, and they were great, so I assumed that the V2 would be good, but we'll see in a bit. Loon says, have to catch you in the air next time after I get some new parts to fix my current woes later. Yeah, for sure, Loon. I admittedly don't really fly for fun much anymore, but I would love to. Rob Axelson says, old school coming on wet. Athix says, the twist in Twisted Pair makes an electromagnetic field / barrier to block out ingress. This is how they stopped bleed over on landline phones. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about landline phones. Rob Axelson says, Crossfire, I'm all in. Yeah, me too, pretty much. Athix says, if you get Ghost and flash ELRS on it, that is a one-way trip. Oh, really? Oh, wow. So you can't flash it back to the Ghost protocol. That's scary. And then Rob Axelson says, dude, got early morning work crap. All stay safe. Love to all. Thanks for hanging, Rob. Back to work. Oh, wait, no. The whole point of me coming over here was to look up the Ishi Nano B2 wiring. And what do we got? All right, perfect. There it is. Okay, so 5 volt in is all the way on the outside. Good. Here we go. Let's get these wires hooked back up. So I'm gonna go red on the outside, and then ground, and then poop. Not poop, not poop, not poop. What's it called? Smart audio. So we're going green for smart audio. So that is going to be, I'm going to skip 2, and then I'm going to go green. All right, so skip 2 through holes, and I'm going to try this little trick here. Put it off on the right side of the bench. Sneak the tip of the... So I'm going to hold the soldering iron like this so I can get it nice and flat. See me? See what I'm doing here? Tinning the tip off camera. Skip, skip, and then I'm going to put it on this third one. So nice and low. And I'm just going to look for the pad to go liquid, which it just did. And I'm going to jam the wire in there. Man, that's nice. That's a really, really nice way to solder to through holes. I am digging that. So now I'm going to take these wires and actually push them back this way, so that the weight of the wires holds this thing up like this. And then now I've got ground and then 5-volt in. So we're going to go ground first. Same kind of deal. Get it onto that pad, wait for it to go liquid. And I gotta just tin the tip a little bit more. Alright, so we're gonna come up from the bottom. Be patient. Ground pads are always a pain in the ass. Oh man, this one's really kind of fighting me. What's going on over here? Oh, is it bridging? God damn it, it's bridging. So yeah, that's a potential problem doing it this way. Is you're kind of going in there blind. So there's a good chance you're going to have some bridge issues, especially with these things being so close together. Well, the real problem is that the soldering iron went to standby and it didn't have any temperature in it. So that would explain it. But let me see what this looks like here. Yeah, they are bridged. All right, we got to get that fixed. So should be back up to temperature. Let's see if we can just flick this off of here. Yep, and we're good. Cool, so there we go with that. Let's try this one more time. Soldering iron nice and flat. Tip is tinned. Wait for this pad to go liquid. There it goes. Push the ground wire through, remove the heat. And there we have it. One more, which is the 5-volt in. And let's do it with this side of the wire. Sneak the soldering iron tip under. Wait for it to liquefy. There it goes. Push the wire down. Remove the heat. Fan-fucking-tastic. And now you just want to look at this side with your little 5X loop and make sure that none of these guys have bridged to their little neighbors. And we are good to go. So we've got video in on yellow, we've got RX on green, ground on black, 5-volt in on red. We are all set on the VTX side of things. So now we just got to get this hooked up to the flight controller. And yeah. Then I think we'll be done moving components around. It'll just be a matter of piecing everything back together, trying to remember how the hell the stack was set up, which could be a little bit of a pain in the ass. But we'll get it figured out. And yeah, we'll slam it all back together. And this RipSqueak will be back on its feet, ready for death, basically. Alright, so what do we got going on here? We've got smart audio and then video and then skip over to ground. And it's a double ground. It's got the camera ground and this ground, so that's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. And then a 5-volt pad all the way on the outside there. So let's remove these first, and then we'll replace them one by one. I also need to shorten the wires up on the Eachine Nano. They're way too long. It's a very short run from the back of this flight controller to where the VTX sits. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on, almost. So right now I'm pulling the ground off, and usually when you do this, when there's 2 wires on there, you'll accidentally remove the other wire. But in this case, it did not. The other wire stayed down. That's kind of nice. I like that. And there goes the smart audio wire, and then here's the video. All right, cool. So those guys are off and free. Let's just clean these pads up a little bit. That. I'm going to make sure that this camera ground is all the way on this pad. It's kind of fallen off the pad a little bit here. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. And then the 5-volt pad. Just clean that up a little bit. Okay, cool. So once this thing is sitting in the frame, let's see how much room we need. So the VTX is going to be sitting back here in the rear. So we need roughly that much. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit long. So let's say I cut it right up here. I'm just going to cut one of them, and then I'll line them up and use it as a guide. So I cut the video wire. The rest of these guys I'm just going to line up real quick here like this and cut them all the same length. Cool. And now we've got lots of extra wire floating around. Okay, we're going to strip these, we're going to tin them. We're going to do a little dance. We're going to pee our pants, because you're not cool unless you pee your pants, as we all know. And we'll zip this onto the flight controller, and we'll have a fully working, wired up RipSqueak again. Hopefully this is not the RipSqueak where the... I feel like one of these RipSqueaks, the PCB, the HD board on the RunCam Hybrid was dying, but I powered them both up and they both seemed fine, so I think maybe it was just the VTX on this. It's been a while since I flew these last, and I should have written down what the problem was with each of them. Each of them had a little bit of a problem, and I just don't remember what the hell it was, which is stupid. I know better than to do that, but hey, I'm human. That's okay. So let's get these guys tinned real quick here. Putting the heat source on the back of the wire, feeding the solder in from the front of the wire. This way, you're pushing the solder in between the strands of wire, which is really important to get it tinned properly. This way, when you put it onto the pad, you get a really strong connection. There we go. All right, so we're all tinned up there. Now we got to get the flight controller in a good spot where I can comfortably solder to it. I'm admittedly kind of half-assing this. If you're not super comfortable with soldering, use helping hands. Don't get all weird the way that I'm doing this. This is not the best way to do it. I can get away with it because I've been soldering for so long, but doing it this way can get really frustrating And when you're new to soldering, that's exactly what you don't want. Like, you really want to stick to the not the basics, but like do it the right way, so that you can get a really good quality result. Because soldering is hard for a long time. Like, your first, I don't know, 100, 200 solder joints, it's a pain in the ass. So stick to the fundamentals, use flux, and you'll hate your life a lot less, basically. Okay, so it was smart audio on the outside, I think, and then telemetry in, right? I think. Yep, smart audio on the outside, and then telemetry, and then video rather. One in. Although, hold on, let me do the ground first. So, what I try to do when I double wire these with the grounds is I'll try to get it in position, and then grab both wires. Sometimes it won't work out, especially if one of them is thicker silicone than the other. But it's always worth a shot. And yeah, that's the situation that I'm running into here. But try it anyway. Just grip it really hard. Let's see if that works. Not really. Tin the tip and try again. Oh, that might have been it. I might have pulled the one off the pad, or that might have been it. Let's take a quick look. We're good. Nope. Yeah, I pulled it off the pad. I could probably leave that, though. It didn't come all the way off. I think there's enough. I think it's okay. I think there's enough there for it. Doing the two wires on one pad when they're both going the same direction is always a pain in the ass. So, let me redo it. So let me put this one back forward on the pad. Actually clear a little bit of the solder off the pad. It's kind of getting a little thick. Fuck, now it's trying to bridge to the pad next door. There we go. I think I just got it cleaned up. All right, so let's put this back on here first. Come on. All right, so that's the camera ground, and it's exactly where I want it. Now let me come in with the VTX ground and see if everybody will stay in position this time. Tin the tip a little bit, just a tiny little bit, just a little tiny bit, and let's see what happens here. Beautiful, that's the stuff right there. Cool. Okay, that's good to go. Now I can grab the telemetry. Wait, no, it's video first. Video first, then telemetry. That's right. So video first. On the second to last pad here. A little bit too much solder on the tip of this wire. Get off of there, fucker. It fell. That's okay. All right, so video first here. the solder on here. Okay. Video is good, and now we're going to take telemetry and put that all the way on the outside here, which is TX4. No, come on. No, come on. Don't do that. God damn it. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. It bridged and then yoinked the video off of there. Let's try that again. So we're going to go video. There we go, video and smart audio. Now I don't have enough solder on it. Come on, get on there, stick. Stick, you bastard! There we go. Perfect. Smart audio is on. Video is on. We are good to go. Who just texted me? Somebody tell me that the microphone is on fire? Anybody? Oh. First day of shooting the tour. I do 9/16. Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. Doom, do I hate what about 4-in-1 ESCs? I love 4-in-1 ESCs, but I'm curious as to what when you say, do you hate what do you this about 4-in-1 ESCs? Did you mean to say what do I think about 4-in-1 ESCs? I love them. Have you pulled everything down from iCloud? That's on iCloud now. Okay, cool. First of the, hold on, boys. I gotta get something uploading here real quick. And I need to go here. This will take 2 seconds. Yep. So it's this, and then it is. So 35 and 36 are there. I just got to do 29 through 31. Bing, bang, boom. You're fired, Bob. Cool. Drop the brightness down on this and let that roll. Cool. That is all good to go. Damn, time is flying. We are approaching. DoomFPV says, sorry, I had a stroke, lol. How do you feel about 4-in-1 ESCs? Doom FPV asks. I love them. Ricardo, don't tell me how to live my life. I love them. 4-in-1 ESCs were brand new when I got into the hobby. And the first rig that I bought was on individual ESCs, and it was a fucking total nightmare. 4-in-1 ESCs came out pretty quick, and yeah, they're great. They keep all of the electrical noise isolated to like the ESC itself. You're able to hook all of the thick gauge wires up to it, which is also great. And the way that quad frames are built or whatever, it works. You know, there's usually like a good spot for the 4-in-1 ESC to sit to hook everything up to it. So yeah, I love them. I think they're fantastic. Where are we at in the chat here? Avik says, do you like those RipSqueak print parts? Those are available on Thingiverse. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, BQE puts all of their 3D print files up on Thingiverse. It's very, very cool of Bill to do that. I like the RipSqueak prints. So this is one of the new RipSqueak prints. It's specifically made for the TBS Pro 32 VTX, which I don't like. I've had terrible luck with the really expensive TBS Pro 32 Nano VTXs. So unfortunately, I can't use this print because I refuse to use that VTX. These are the new camera mount prints, which are really nice. And then there's another new print that's kind of interesting that puts the camera up front outside of the cage. I don't really have interest in that. I like having the camera internal so that it's protected. But it is a really cool print. I really do like that print. But I'm not going to use it. So I'm personally not going to use any of the new prints, but they are really nice. I am going to use the Insta360 Go print, the Insta360 Go 2 prints. This is one, and this is the other. So I'm loving these. But otherwise, yeah, none of the other new prints I'm going to use. Man, I'm losing my voice. Another reason I'm going to have to kind of chop this stream. I was thinking if I had it in me to run 8 to 10 Joshua's time slot and then run 10 to 12 on my time slot, but my voice ain't gonna hold out for the whole time. So you guys have to come back on Wednesday to see me piece this. Maybe I'll reassemble this off the stream. Maybe I'll wait till Wednesday to do it. We have another RipSqueak that needs to get built, and then potentially another one that needs to get repaired. I'm gonna fly them tomorrow, hopefully, to see what the hell's going on with them. Metadirkson says, just saying, hey, gotta go try to squeeze in some 250 flights before it gets dark. Have a good stream. Thank you, Metal. You're probably not still here, but thanks for swinging by. License to Drive says, my soldering improved so much when I did a bit of work for an electronics engineer. Now I can replace a UFL quite easily. That's pretty dope. Most of you guys that have been around a while know that my father was an electrical engineer for 30 plus years. So I'm super lucky. He's been to like NASA soldering school and worked on Princeton Plasma Physics' nuclear fusion reactor called the tokamak for many years. So yeah, I'm a pretty lucky dude to have that access to that person. Yeah, it's pretty dope. All right, cool. We are good to go. All caught up on chat. All the soldering is done. I'm not going to be able to piece this thing back together in 8 minutes. But, you know, it's just screwing screws together. So, nothing really much to see. Any last second questions, drop them in the chat. You've got about 30 seconds. I'm going to wrap up here. Let me find some flying for you guys to watch. Bando School, Detroit. No, I don't want that. Don't want that. Let's float. Well, what's this? Flow state was. Oh, yeah. No, that's not what I want. Eardrummer. Nope, we don't want that. Fireworks. You guys have seen that. Big Field. Oh yeah, I'll play you guys another Big Field. Let me grab a jam for you guys. Thanks for hanging out, boys and girls. This has been Micro Monday. RipSqueak is good to go. Be back on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Maybe a Patreon only stream tomorrow. Definitely join the Patreon or I'll attack you. Keith Brigadier says, what bad luck with TBS Nano 32? They just fail. I've had 2 of them fail. And the Eachine Nanos for like 1/3 of the price. I've yet to have one fail. So, yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. But when the second TBS one failed, I was like, never again, because they're expensive. They're the most expensive of the VTXs, and if they're gonna be just shit in the bed, like, you know, that's stupid. What's this? Dreamy and Laid Back.
Why don't you get it by now?
Easy,
Tell me what you learned
easy,
in
easy,
school.
easy. Easy, easy, easy.
I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe.
No, we're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that. Alright, we're going with the first one. Tweet and Delete, it's called. And oh my god, shut up, Starlight Hype. Let's go with, I think this is one of the good ones. Thanks for hanging out, boys and girls. Here's some flying from this huge field with a little bit of an epidemic soundtrack on it. Or it's just not gonna work. Thanks for hanging. Love you guys. See you Wednesday. Oh my god, all the noise.
Tell me what you learned in grade school. Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that good? Why is our love it one-sided? It should really be give and take. Fill you up and leave me empty. Baby, was that my mistake? Covering his feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad right now, I can't even think straight. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it, knowing you won't read it. Before we get too far away, I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind, rewind, rewind. Changes. I'm just so mad, but now it's at my own expense. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it, knowing you won't read it. Before we get too far away, I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't reach.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound.